Hi, my name is Tim, and I'm forgiven. Isn't it wonderful to know that our country was founded by humility, and that if not for this humility that first entered into our government, we would be a dictatorship. It's just as plain and simple as that. Because of the acts of George Washington, our country was made free. And because of the acts of George Washington, our country was kept free. This man could have laid down a legacy for himself that would have included generations of power and control. In his humility, in his understanding of the evilness wrought within that, he wanted to be an everyday man. And he wanted everyday men to be president. To be presidents. Year after year after year, replaced. Election after election, replaced with everyday citizens. The only place in the world, in the history of the world, where a everyday man could become the president of a nation. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, we have to reflect on that and think, what he did to constrain his pride changed the world forever. George Washington. Now, when I say that he could have laid down a legacy, this is the wonder of George Washington. In fact, he did lay down a legacy by laying down his power. What we need today, more than anything else in the whole world, is for our politicians to realize a few things. And one of them is they're everyday Americans. They are. They're no better than you and me because our Constitution granted that. They provided for the fact that they're not royalty. They're not born special. They're not born intelligent. They're not born with a predestiny to be where they're at. To take yourself out of the picture, and to do this anywhere, in any stage of any kind of situation, is a very difficult thing. We center our lives, we center the things in our lives around ourselves. And everything is meaningful when we're in it. If we're not in it, it's not very meaningful to us. To set aside pride and honor and privilege, it's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. This is why we have elections in America. Because men will not step down. Men will not relinquish power. They will not relinquish control. Presidents will not just quit because they want to. Unless, of course, you're talking about George Washington. It's a great lesson from a great man that established a fantastic country that our current politicians are trying to rearrange as if it wasn't a good thing. What is not a good thing that we can elect and change? 200 and some years are not enough history to prove the wonder of the Constitution of the United States of America. The 80s are not proof that America can be fantastic and that we can crush enemies with just our power and not with that action And now our president wants to relinquish that power. It's scary. He doesn't want to relinquish his. He just wants to set America aside. Set aside your power, Mr. President. Let the Republicans do what they want. Wouldn't work, would it? It wouldn't do it for 5 seconds. We need to continually flush our politicians. Routinely, every election, just say, I'm thinking one term. And on the occasion when we get a man who is humble, who isn't there for himself, we might hang on to that one. That's why I'm against term limits. Because term limits means you're an idiot. And it's really easy to think that anymore. You need to wise up, and you need to quit electing people who are power hungry, power mongers, who have only self-interest. Now, I live in the state where I live, and I love living here. And if I could accumulate things for this state, build it up, that would be a wonderful thing. But in the process, if it's crippling other states, that's ignorant, that's selfish, and it's wrong. When you broker deals in politics because it helps your re-election possibilities within your state, that's wrong. If you have to get into power by saying what the people want, that's wrong. What they want to hear you say, it's wrong. People who run need to run to do the right thing. What is right and what is wrong. This should be what determines a politician's actions, not his power, not his legacy, not his control, not his spouse. I was going to say wife, but women are just as valid as politicians as men are. So, don't try and please anybody except justice. What's right? What's fair? Do that. People, you need to preach this. We need to sing this like the whole country. The whole country needs to stand on its feet and start taking control of what's going on. You need to start taking responsibility for where we're at. My lack of spreading the word has cause for our current situation. All of us have allowed for a great lapse. We need to fix this. Please get involved everywhere you can. The great days cannot be behind us. God bless.